Hello, Omar here again for another quick video on the Fuji X-t20. This one's for the pixel peepers out there. I didn't want to do this, but you forced my hand. Some people were asking about how the camera performs with high ISO. Spoiler alert, amazing again. I didn't really want to do any sort of like crazy scientific tests or anything, so I'm going to show you some photographs that I took. My wife's family has like a little backyard farm with chickens and things. They also make their own sausage, and so in this little smokehouse I went, it was super dark, and that was a perfect time to try different ISOs on the camera. So I shot at different ISOs there, and also in the office we did like a little budget ISO test on Batgirl, so you'll see that. I use Batgirl because someone in the comments said the only reason they subscribed was because of Batgirl. So this one's for you, buddy. All right, guys. So here we are on the backyard farm. There was a rooster that was in the back, and I believe, yeah, I use center focus point here. This is not related to ISO. Now, as of March 8th, which is today, 2017, I don't have raw processing for the Fuji X-t20 on my Lightroom. So these are all JPEGs straight out of camera. I basically edited only one photo, so I'll show you the one that I actually edited. All these are straight out of camera. I'll put a link to these files so you can totally just like download them and take a quick look at them and zoom in for you pixel peepers out there. So what I was most impressed about this was, of course, just the quick focus from the camera, but also, I mean, if I zoom in here, I mean, just the detail on the bird, man, is ridiculous. You can see like even just whatever this disease is the bird has up here. So that's crazy, and it's just beautiful. Anyway, let's move on. Here's another sexy photo through the fence. Again, I was kind of testing how good the camera was at locking focus. I put a smaller focus point to go through the fence here. I did use half button hold for this one, not touch. I'll show you some that I used the touch screen to focus on. But again, beautiful detail. You can see here in the feathers is like ridiculous detail. And this is sharpening by the camera. This isn't even sharpening by any Lightroom or anything. I do find if you go a little close, you start to see some sort of like sharpening artifacts, but please give me a break. Look at that. That's just ridiculously nice. So I love it. Bird. I did two here. This was a little underexposed, so I wanted to test focus. But what I love about this photo is like you can actually see me in his eye. What? That's crazy. So shooting through the fence again. And then I just did like exposure compensation dial here, maybe clicked it up a little bit. And the actual photo is here, straight out of camera. And again, I was checking sharpness and, you know, just totally playing around here. This one, I did use the touch screen focus here. This is sort of like the little sort of, you know, crazy background with all kinds of confusing things. But I found this useful, like if you're at a zoo or something and you're going to shoot between the fence or there's like obstacles. The touch screen was perfect here. So I just touched where the chicken was and it just focused fine on the chicken there. See, total focus. So that was cool. What a mess this yard is. This was another touch screen test. This one I touched the little shed in the background, just like a quick focus snap. And then I was basically going to shoot this leaf here and I touched, focused, and then just shot right away. And it totally grabbed focus on this dead leaf. And it looks awesome. So great contrast. Again, straight out of camera. This film simulation is like the standard one. Very, very nice. And so here, this little twig was in front of me. And so I was trying the touch screen to see if it can capture that. It missed a little bit, but it finally grabbed on, like in another photo, it grabbed onto it. But I don't have that photo, I'm sorry. But I remember I was testing that. For you pixel peepers out there, I put this one up if you want to check, you know, all the little pieces of wood in there and count all that and all this paint chip stuff over here, if you're into that. So, but again, this was just great sharpness, great contrast, straight out of camera. Again, I want to shoot JPEG with this camera. I don't want to get RAWs and bring them in and try to process them in Lightroom. Okay, so this brings us to the ISO test. When I was doing this, I wasn't actually testing ISO like for a video. I was just doing it for myself, but I went back to these photos for you. And so this was pretty dark in here. If you notice the ISO in the corner here, the ISO was 400 here. I was at 10th of a second. So this is actually handheld, 10th of a second, 400 ISO. This is their little smoking shed. And I apologize profusely to you vegetarians out there. These are old school Italians that are making their own sausage in their backyard. So anyway, back to ISO. Back to sharp, just talking about sharpness, like the sharpness is fantastic. You can completely see here. If I zoom in, there's like barely any noise or anything in the shadows. So at ISO 400, clean. Hold on, that's 1600. Here's 800, ISO 800, bumping up one more. I can't really tell the difference at all between the two. Let me see if I do a little compare here. 400. I know you guys love this. Like, I don't really love doing this stuff, but this is like for, I get questions like, can you test yeah, I'll test it. But I mean, I can't really tell the difference between those two at all. I'll show you like the most extreme example differences, but so that's 800. This is 1600. Again, total usable file. Like if you're shooting this at 1600 and you're completely using this, you can print this like no problem. If I zoom in here, there's like barely any noise. There is like a strange, but that just might be the camera's like sharpening. There seems to be like, I don't know, it seems to be like a little over sharpening thing. I'm going to do more tests with that. Hold on, over here. Yeah, go to the shadows. Everything looks good. So this is 800. Here's 3200. Loading. Totally fine. Again, you're starting to see some noise, but like, please, some of the noise that's created is like beautiful grain. 6400. Same thing. I'm still in the shed. It's starting to come apart a little bit, but totally usable. If you had to like post this up, I wouldn't print it super huge probably, because you start to get a little like smudginess. But hold on. I'm sorry if I'm driving you crazy here, but there is noise in the background. Let me see what that looks like from the 400 one. Let's see. This is 400. Yeah, 400 in the background over here is, nice and fine. And then this is, okay, hold on. I think I went too far. 6400, totally fine. Again, usable. I don't see too many issues. 12,800. Okay, so it's, starting to break apart a little bit. Here you can see the sausages aren't looking as delicious. But pretty much, again, usable. If you're posting a photo like this size or online or something and you're desperate, 12,800, totally fine. And this is where things go horribly wrong. Hold on, let me go to the 20. I skipped one. Sorry. So again, this is 25,600, and from far away, completely usable. Like I would say for an online photo, completely usable. I wouldn't deliver this to a client, because it's starting to break apart. But again, some of these photos, sometimes you can black and white these things and it looks like beautiful film grain, so noise, used to be like completely, like you would see colors, like ridiculous colors. The noise here is like, it's just like grain, which is awesome. Like you can still use the photo without being embarrassed. Okay. Hold on. And this is the one where I said it goes terribly wrong. You would have to have this photo be maybe, hold on, that size. Oh, look at the sausages, and you couldn't tell anything. But as soon as you start to go in a little bit, it sort of looks a little smudgy and stuff, but completely usable, which is crazy. I mean, some ISOs on the Canon are like, why did they even make them? Because the photo is just ridiculously unusable. I would say this is usable. Emergency situations, you have this, in your sleeve. Cool. Chicken tried to attack me. Not really. But this one is the one I did edit. This was sort of flat out of, it was in the shadows and stuff. So I kind of edited it, gave it a little black and white flavor. But again, sharp, nice. Okay. So let's do a little quote laboratory test. I included Batgirl here for my one Batgirl fan who subscribed for her. So here she is, man, in all her glory. So this is, let's start with the first one. I don't know if I have ISO 200 on her. I don't. I mean, it's so clean, ISO 200. That's the native ISO. So this is ISO 400 on Batgirl. I'm going to zoom in on her face, guys, on her face. And again, super clean, super sharp. You know, you can even see like the little sculpt kind of stuff on her hair, which is, which is awesome. Next, ISO 800, still awesome. She looks totally fine there. 800, no problem. Let's go to 1600, ISO 1600. Here we go. I mean, look, it's like ridiculously awesome. 1600, totally fine. I don't see like a lot of noise. 3200, come on, work it. Still usable, still great. You know, if you had this, I'm going to stop talking because it's just, let it speak for itself. 6400, again, you're starting to see a little bit like around her nose. You're starting to see it break apart, but 6400, man, that's pretty dang good. 6400. Here we're getting to the five figures. So this is 12,000. She's got that grain going on her face, you know, but again, it could be like that film grain. You know, you back up a little bit, you really don't even see it. 25,600. We got our grain now. These are the last two. You know, the last two high ISOs are a little rough, but again, usable. Again, I'll link up these photos so you can sort of play yourself with the photos. And this is the one where it really 51,200, but it did a little better than the sausages. You lose all the detail in like the little sculpt stuff that we saw over here. But again, if you're posting this photo, you know, online or on Instagram, please, like you can't tell any grain from there, okay? It's only if you're pixel peeping, pixel peepers. Stop it. Okay, so forget all that. Get out there and shoot. You know, forget about all this pixel peeping. Enjoy yourselves, man. Enjoy yourselves. So there you have it. So what do you think? Let me know in the comments below. I mean, to not have to worry about ISOs, total usable images at 32, 64, even 12,058, whatever it is. What's great is you can set an auto ISO now on this camera, and you can actually set a limit. So the camera can just auto ISO. You might not even have to worry about your ISO in sort of situations that are a little dark. You can just set an auto ISO and give it a limit. Maybe for you, 32, you don't want to go above 3,200. But I might set mine all the way to like 12,000, baby, because it gives you totally usable files. Maybe 64. Let's not get crazy. 6,400.